How you doing? Jaden, back with another video. In this video, we're going to be talking about LeBron James' legacy on the Los Angeles Lakers. So, LeBron has done a lot on the Lakers. Not really for the Lakers, but he's definitely done a lot on the Lakers. He won that ring with the Finals MVP in the bubble. But other than that, he hasn't really done much. Now, he's done a lot for his career. He is bound to win a scoring title this year. It's a three-way tie with him, Joel Embiid, and Giannis. Joel Embiid actually just took the lead by, I think, 0.2 of a point last night. Other than that, LeBron at age 37 is playing some of the best basketball he's played in a lot of years. Arguably his whole career. This is arguably statistically his best season of his career. And the fact that he's 37 doing this, he ages like fine wine. He gets better with age, and that's something you can't really deny with LeBron. Age doesn't really matter, and he's proving that with every second he steps on the floor. But if you look, once LeBron retires, once it's all said and done, we're all going to look back at the end of his career. We're going to look back at his Laker days. And me personally, I feel as though his Laker days are overrated because other than that 2019-2020 season, what else did he do? If you look in his first season, 2018-2019, if you look in that first season, he got injured on Christmas, missed a lot of games. They didn't make the playoffs that year. Had LeBron not have gotten injured, they would have easily made the playoffs. They wouldn't have gotten past those Warriors, though, KD and Steph-led Warriors, but he still definitely would have made the playoffs. But he didn't make the playoffs that first year. The second year they gave AD, they won a championship. The third year, which was last season, they made the playoffs. They weren't that great because they made the play-in. They beat the Warriors. So now they're in the play-in tournament. They get bounced in 5-6 in the first round to the Suns. This season, you add Russell Westbrook, you get Dwight Howard back, you get Rajon Rondo back, you get Carmelo Anthony, and you're the 11th seed, and you get bounced by the Phoenix Suns again. So now your play-in hopes, your postseason hopes are tarnished due to the Phoenix Suns 2 years in a row. Last year they got bounced in the first round. This year they're the 11th seed. They can't even make the play-in tournament because of their record. The Western Conference is very, very, very stacked. But the Eastern Conference is historically the worst conference. You can put the Lakers in the East and they would still lose. You see what's happening with the Nets. And this goes to show talent means nothing. Talent means nothing. Because the Nets are the 8th seed? And you have Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and you had James Harden for most of the season. You had James Harden for most of the season. This was not his best season. I personally am not the biggest fan of him being an all-star, but I get it because it's James Harden. You're not ever going to have an all-star game without James Harden. And even on an off season, those are still impressive numbers. You're averaging 22, 8, and 8. You give 22, 8, and 8 to somebody like Jamal Murray, and everybody's going to gas his head. So being that it's James Harden, it's an off season, but those are elite numbers still. 22.5 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists. His field goal percentage wasn't the best, but he had a nagging injury. But that's also his fault. But we'll get to that another day. But the Lakers, we're going to look back once it's all said and done. LeBron's time with the Lakers is overrated because of the teams that he's been on. Not saying it's his fault, but you can't say that LeBron James is a Laker great once he retires. You can't put him in a conversation with Laker greats like Kareem. You can't put him in a conversation with Wilt, with Kobe, with Shaq. Pau Gasol has a better chance of being in that conversation than LeBron James, if I'm being quite frank with you, just because he won 2 rings with Kobe and the Lakers. In that 2010 against the Celtics. He arguably could have won the Finals MVP if Kobe didn't have such a good game, that Game 7. But Pau Gasol had he had a phenomenal series against the Boston Celtics in 2010. But LeBron, here's the difference. The Lakers were great with Kobe, with Shaq, with Wilt, with Kareem. And Kobe, Shaq, Wilt, and Kareem were also great with the Lakers. The Lakers were great with them. They were great with the Lakers. It all fit. It was like this. You look at LeBron. Excuse me. You look at LeBron. LeBron was great with the Lakers, but the Lakers were not great with LeBron because you spend 4 seasons on the team. A LeBron-led team automatically is playoff bound. I don't give a damn how old LeBron is. LeBron could be pushing 40 years old, and they're still going to make the playoffs, and LeBron is still going to be elite. I don't think LeBron has that much time left in the NBA. I think at most you give him about 4 years. But any version of LeBron, this has been the longest prime of any athlete we have ever seen. I feel like LeBron is still in his prime, and he's probably not even going to exit his prime until maybe his last season. And in his last season, you're still going to look at him putting up, 24, 4, and 5. That's still good numbers for LeBron. That's not good numbers for LeBron, but that's elite numbers for anybody else. This has been the longest. LeBron defines longevity. If I get my dictionary out of my closet, you're going to see a picture with his face on it. LeBron was great with the Lakers. But if LeBron is on a team for 4 years and misses the playoffs twice, and then on top of that, you get bounced in the first round, you can't really say that he's in that conversation with Shaq, with Kobe, with the rest of these guys, because they amounted to stuff that LeBron couldn't. Now, I get it. They spent a lot more time on the Lakers. Kareem spent, I believe it was 12 years on the Lakers. Kobe spent 20. Shaq spent 8. So I get it. But with Shaq and with Kobe, they both got to the Lakers in 96. Their teams only got better every year they were on that team. LeBron, it's like they don't get anywhere. They don't get anywhere. It's just they're elite one season, they were elite 2 seasons ago, and now they suck. And you can't really do anything about that. You can't really do anything about that. LeBron was great with the Lakers. The Lakers were not great with LeBron. So you can't make the argument. You can make the argument, and it may be a valid one, but at the end of the day, you can't say that LeBron is an all-time Laker great. LeBron's an all-time great. He's arguably the greatest player to ever live. He's the number 2 all-time leading scorer. In about 50 games, he's gonna get past Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for the first all-time leading scorer. He did all of that with the Lakers. He's done a lot for himself with the Lakers, but he's not, at the end of the day, he can't be considered an all-time Laker great.